Good evening and welcome to the real world. Tonight, Chav Zainav is the yard site of the Heilige Tosh People give tikkun on the yard site. They give the drink, they give l'chaim. I'm asking you to give tikkun, to give me an extra 2 minutes tonight. It will be worth it. Listen to this story. A Yid came into the Tosh Rebbe's room in 1954. Not long after the Muhammad, he came in and he asked the Tosh Rebbe a bracha. The Rebbe still lives in Montreal. Then he said he's moving to Halifax, Nova Scotia. The Rebbe said, Halifax, Nova Scotia? What is it you do in Halifax? There's no chinuch, there's no kosher food, there's no shul, there's no rabbanim. What do you do in Halifax, Nova Scotia? He says, Rebbe, I've been through a lot. I've suffered a lot. And he told the Rebbe that after the war, he'd lost everything. He'd lost his family, he'd lost his friends, he'd lost his whole town. He had nothing. And he was determined to rebuild. He was optimistic, he was hopeful. And he worked hard and he put together $500 US. That was a fortune of money enough. That was the seeds of his new life, the seeds of rebirth. And he was en route to America in transit, and he was in the train station in Antwerp with his briefcase, and there was some from people around him, and he looked at them, and somebody jostled him, and his briefcase was gone, his suitcase was missing. Somebody took a suitcase. He told his Rebbe in that second, they didn't just take my $500, they didn't just take my clothing, they didn't just take my tefillin, they took me, they took my soul, they took my heart, they took my faith in people. I'm done. So he says, Rebbe, it's good, I believe in Hashem, I'm going to stay a Yid, but I'm done with the community and the people, and I can't be here anymore. I won't go to Halifax. I'm not asking for advice, I just want a bracha. Wish me well. This was a Thursday night. The Rebbe gave him a bracha. Sunday morning, there's Yiddish and Shul, a few days away from his train trip to Halifax, and he feels eyes on him. Someone's looking at him. And he looks up, and someone's staring at him, and this person says, do we know each other? Have we ever met? Their eyes lock, and he says, no, I don't know what you're talking about. The person says, were you perhaps in Antwerp after the war? So he says, yeah, I was there. He says, were you in a train station? He says, yeah. He says, did someone take you? So he says, yeah. He goes, it was me. It was me. I took your suitcase. I'm the one who stole your briefcase. I stole it. And you need to be medical. You need to understand what life was like. We came out of the concentration camps, trained that the only way to survive was to grab. And if we saw something, we didn't know how to behave. We weren't humans. Some of us were like animals. I saw your briefcase. I grabbed it. I wasn't thinking. But today, I'm a little more stable. I'm a little more whole. I'm able to, please be Michael me. Wait here, Shul. Don't leave for 10 minutes. And this fellow leaves Shul. And he comes back a few minutes later to the envelope. And in the envelope, there's $1,500 US. He says, please be Michael me. $500 is paying you back for what I stole. And the rest of the money is piaskelt. It's money to placate you. It's money that you should be Michael me. It's the money you would have invested in. You would have done business. Take all of it. Please just be Michael me. So he accepts the money. And for $1,500 US in his pocket, it's a lot of money. He doesn't really feel the need to run to Halifax anymore. So he stays. He gets married again. He builds a family. He opens a store. He has money now. And he's able to build a life. 30 years later, this Yid, who had lost his briefcase in Antwerp and started his life again, was going to move to New York. His children had all been married. His children lived in New York, and he and his wife were getting older, so they decided to move to New York. The night before he's moving to New York, there's a knock on his door. And in comes the second Yid, the thief. He says, can I talk to you? He says, sure. Now, their relationship had obviously never been great. He was Michael him, and they moved on, but they never really, it was uncomfortable. He stole his money, even though he was Michael him. He says, I need to tell you something. Your beautiful family, your children, the chasnas, the shidduchim you made, your einiklach, who go to yeshivas and Beis Yaakovs, your beautiful heilige Yiddish family. Do you know who you owe your family to? You owe it to the Tosh Rebbe. You know why? Because that Sunday morning when I came to you in Shul, I had never seen you before in my life. I was never in Antwerp in my life. I was never in the train station in my life. The whole thing was because the Tosh Rebbe came to me, and he said to me, here's money, go pay off this guy, go ask Mechila, go make a right, and give him the money. This was a setup job by the Tosh Rebbe. You owe him everything. Now, the Gabbai who told me the story said, we know how much it cost the Tosh Rebbe to pay off the first Yid. $1,500. We have no idea how much the Tosh Rebbe had to pay the second Yid to claim responsibility for a theft he hadn't even done. To take responsibility for an Aveira, which he hadn't even done. That's a whole other bunch of money. Side the first, side the second. The Tosh Rebbe's yard side. In other years, thousands of Yidden are traveling to Montreal right now on the roads, anxious to be by the sea and to tap into like this year. Many people can't go, the border's closed. But we can connect to the Avaida of the Tzaddik, the Heilige Tosh Rebbe Shlita said, over by doing a taiva for a Yid. What does it mean to do the taiva for a Yid? What lies in this story? What's the essence of this story? I want to ask you a question. Tosh Rebbe had no money in 1954. He's trying to build his own base medrash, his own yeshiva. He had his own family. Survivors were coming and going through people lived in his house. Where did he come up with $1,500 plus the other money in 1954? What made him do that? If somebody told you Apple stock is worth about $500 a share, give or take. If someone told you it's worth a few pennies because there's a computer glitch, but tonight at midnight it's going back up to $500 a share, would you say, oh, I have $10 in my pocket, let me go buy some shares? No. You're going to go clean out your bank account. You're going to go mortgage your house. You're going to beg and borrow whatever money you can get to buy Apple shares because you know that as many shares as you have tonight at midnight, they're going to go shooting up, and you're going to be a millionaire or a billionaire. It's going to be multiplied by how many shares you have. You're not just going to say, give me a few shares. The Tosh Rebbe saw Yiddish and Neshama the same way. So he said, here's a chance he's going to Halifax, he's lost. If I can just keep him here, whatever money I can get right now to keep him here, I'm investing in his future. And Yiddish and Neshama endures, and Yiddish and Neshama multiplies. He believed in Yiddish and Neshama. So when his son, the Heilige Tosh Rebbe, is telling us on the outside, do a type for Yid, what he's saying is, learn how to look at another Neshama, and you'll want to do whatever you could to make life better for another Yid. Chus Yagan Aleinu.